All right, y'all. A new potential destination for Jimmy G. I know it changes every day, but we got to talk about it. A potential Julio Jones signing. Is he a shell of himself? Is he still him? We going to see. And free agents leaving to New York. 49er free agents leaving New York and Miami. Did I say something about Kyle Shanahan, or is it just out there to get that money, baby? We're going to talk about all that and more. It's the San Francisco 49ers morning show. Let's go.
Intercepted. It is picked up by Eric Crocker. Over midfield, he'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Cross Talk TV podcast. Peace.
Welcome to another episode of the San Francisco 49ers Morning Show. I'm your host, former NFL and NFL defensive back, Eric Crocker. And y'all know what to do, man. Tell y'all every day, 5 days a week. Guess who's coming at you? Myself and my co-host, Brian Peacock, on Locked On 49ers. Shout out to the faithful, man. The numbers, you would think, it's the offseason, numbers going to dip. The numbers just keep going up on the Locked On 49ers show. So y'all keep us there at number one, the number one listen to podcast on the network. Come on, man. They can't mess with us. They cannot mess with us. Let's go. Shout out to the faithful. Also, Locked On the NFL Draft with myself and Ryan Tracy coming at you. Turn my mic up. Hold on. Am I on now? Am I on? Okay, sounds fine. All right. All right, here we go. Locked On 49ers. Make sure y'all tune into that. Myself, Brian Peacock, 5 days a week. We're coming at you live. YouTube. Subscribe to that YouTube channel as well. Number one podcast on the network. Let's go. They can't fuck with us. Locked On NFL Draft with myself and Ryan Tracy, 5 days a week. Tune into that as well. Another one of the top shows on the network, man. We out here getting it. Let's go. My bad. I think something's wrong with my mic. I think that, I don't know. It's back on. What is going on? So y'all can't hear me. Maybe I need to have somebody on here. I'm gonna bring somebody on or something so y'all can let me know if there's something going on with my mic. What is going on with my mic? All right, man. Hey, man, y'all stop playing with me because I can't hear myself. Man, stop playing. But anyways, man, let's jump straight into it. And y'all stop playing out here, man. I can't hear myself. So if I'm off, I have no idea. I can only look at the chat and kind of know what's going on there. But let's get straight into it, man. Some free agents from the 49ers have left. And, I see some comments about it like, oh, why are people leaving 49ers? Do they not, want to play for Kyle Shanahan? Do they want to play for McDaniel more? Do they want to play for Robert Saleh more? And my thing would be, I think they just want to make more money. You know what I'm saying? They want to make more money. And, guys, some of these guys haven't really had the opportunity to make big time money. They haven't had that big contract. And I remember being in the NFL and going through the little program thing and them telling us, like, don't purchase things until your second contract. Like, don't make large purchases until you like get that second contract. Because the second contract is usually big. First contract, a lot of people don't really realize this, but you don't make a whole lot of money. You see, guys, the average NFL player is bankrupt within 3 years or files for bankruptcy or whatever. It broke within 3 years of being out of the NFL. Why is that? Well, the average NFL career is 3 years. Within those 3 years, most guys aren't like first round picks. Most of the NFL is made up of guys that are third round, fourth round, fifth round, undrafted. Like the NFL is made up of mostly those guys. So if you're undrafted, and we'll just talk about my contract. When I was with the New York Jets, it was a 3-year, $1.5 million contract. Now, even if, which I didn't, but let's say I played out the entire 3 years and I made $1.5 million. is it really 1.5 million? Because you're really gonna pay taxes on like half of that. And I got child support. All right. So out of 1.5 million over 3 years, you make half of that because of taxes. We're talking about 700,000. All right. Now divide 700,000 by 3 years. And what is that? I don't know, 200,000 a year or something like that. Now you talk about expenses, housing, living, flying, family, like that really ain't no money if you only play 3 years. You know what I'm saying? It really ain't bread like that. So a lot of these guys who, even if active for the entire time or entire duration of their rookie contract, they ain't really make a whole lot of money like that. So when you have the opportunity, like a Laken Tomlinson, to go get a contract 3 years, $40 million, like that changed his life. That changed his life. That changed his family life. He ain't touched money like that. When you look at DJ Reed, and I know DJ Reed is not a current 49er. He was with the 49ers. He got signed away by the Seahawks, and now he goes to New York Jets, and he makes, in his 3 years, $33 million. DJ Reed, this is a junior college guy. He went to what I believe is Fresno State. We had him on here before. Went to Fresno State, left there, went to junior college, left there to go to Kansas State, and was mid-round pick to the 49ers. Ended up getting hurt. Things didn't work out. He got signed away. I think the 49ers thought they'd get him back. Went play well, and now all of a sudden it's like, dude, I got the opportunity to make 3 years, $33 million. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And all these guys, Trent Sherfield, maybe he gets a little bit more than whatever the 49ers offered. Trent Taylor, obviously we know his situation with 49ers, and he's been in the NFL longer, but even then, I'm telling you, they're not making money, like, not to the extent of which I think people think. Unless you're a big dog and you get a nice second-year contract. DJ Reed, he's straight. Laken Tomlinson, he's straight. These other guys, even Raheem Mostert, he got to get the $3 million contract that he just signed. Like, bro, I need all $3 million of that. Because, after Uncle Sam takes his, you got family, you got all these other obligations, depending on where you live. I know being in New York, it's expensive. The Jets aren't technically in New York. They're in Florham Park, New Jersey. All right, but living in New Jersey, it was expensive. Like, I remember. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and that was just me staying with a lot of the other guys that are kind of in the situation I was, like, being in the what was being the extended stay. The extended stay was kind of cool. I paid like $500 a week or something like that. But if you get cut, you don't have no lease somewhere else. So a lot of guys just stay in the extended stay. It starts off at like $500 a week, then it goes down to like $300 some a week after so long. So you pay $1,200. They got breakfast. They clean your room. You got cable, internet, Wi-Fi, all the good stuff. So it's like, I don't need to go get a place. I just stay here. They bring you fresh towels and fold your bed, all the good stuff. All right. So I stayed in the extended stay. A bunch of my teammates did. All right. Because you can get cut at any time. Once you cut, you won't be obligated to stay there. Now I see some people say 400,000 would work. It would. But I'm gonna tell you this: the more money you make, the more expenses you have. So I think right now, a lot of people look at their current situation. Let's say you make 70,000 a year, and you're looking at your 70,000. Like, well, I'm able to live off 70,000 if I keep this same lifestyle, making 400,000. I'm good. What? I'm putting money away and stuff like that. But the more money you make, the more your lifestyle kind of goes up. And I'm seeing that now. And not saying I'm balling or anything like that, but I'm making pretty good money doing all my streaming stuff, podcasts, all that good stuff. And the more money I make, the more, like, taking my wife to New Orleans for her birthday and paying for the suites for everybody and things like that. You want people to have a good time. And I am the most frugal person you'll meet. The most frugal person. But even then, hell, look, I wish I could show you. I wish I could. I created softbox lights because I don't want to spend $100 on it. And really it costs about, I think, $300 for the whole little thing for like a legit softbox. You know what I'm saying? Like for like a legit, like, and it's like, I'm just frugal. But so if I can cut corners in places, I will. At the end of the day, the more you make, your lifestyle starts going up. And a lot of these guys that are from the 49ers who people were like, man, well, hopefully they take a little pay cut. Maybe hopefully they do this. Hell no, I ain't taking no pay cut for you. I need this money because you don't know how long the NFL gonna last. They call it not for long, right? Like guys go bankrupt within 3 years of retiring. Why? It's because they ain't really made a whole lot of money like that. So got to save right. I think for a lot of these guys, Trent Sherfield, Mostert, Thomason, Reed, all these guys, they got to learn how to like invest their money into certain things where it's gonna grow. And unfortunately, a lot of times in the way that I know a lot of people around me grew up, who the hell, like, bro, how am I supposed to know about investing anything? How am I supposed to know? That's and then hopefully you get with the right investor type person or whatever that ain't gonna steal money from you, because that happens too. And it happens to everybody. I mean, I think it happened to Mark Sanchez. It happens to a lot of people. But that's tough. 49ers, there's a lot of 49er players going to other places. And I will say, I am happy for Raheem Mostert, man. Like, his story is, being on like 6 NFL teams before he even gets to the 49ers, being a special teams guy, making his niche. And then all of a sudden, he's kind of a household name almost, in the NFL community, a guy who's a threat to score at any time. And it's just like, man, if he could just stay healthy. So a lot of times, like when people go to other teams, like I really don't care. But a couple guys here I'm rooting for: Trent Sherfield and Raheem Mostert and DJ Reed. I'm rooting for those 3 guys. Rooting for them. All right, here we go. Let's get into some more news, some more relevant news here. And y'all know what it is. Chris Mortensen comes out and talks about Jimmy Garoppolo. Shout out to all 240 of you in here right now, man. Bright and early, man. We're only 11 minutes in and y'all flying in. Let's go hit the like and subscribe button. But Chris Mortensen, I guess this is kind of like a little weird flex or whatever, but he follows me on Twitter. And every time I get a follow from like one of these guys that I've grew up watching, like I've been watching Chris Mortensen on ESPN for years. Greg Cosell follows me on Twitter, like, and it's like every time I get a little starstruck. I'm not somebody that gets starstruck. There's only been a few people that have really made me starstruck. Greg Cosell following me, Chris Mortensen following me. Like, those are the ones where I tell my brother, like, hey, BJ, like, man, look who just followed me, bro. Like, Chris Mortensen just followed me. Like I'm 34 years old, and I text my brother when I get follows like that. But only other time I've kind of really been starstruck, remember being in the Jets locker room and Tim Tebow walking in. And Tim Tebow, for whatever reason, I got starstruck a little bit when Tim Tebow was in the locker room. Now, after, the initial, what's up, Tebow, you know what I'm saying? I'm Croc, woo, woo, you know what I'm saying? And, you forget about it. Then we work out together, do things with him. Tim Tebow, he couldn't throw for shit, but I will say he was definitely the ultimate competitor. And being in his workout groups, it was interesting because I'm like, is this nigga cheating? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Tim Tebow, funny dude, couldn't throw for shit though. I saw someone compare, who they compared to Tim Tebow. I think they compared Trey Lance's windup to Tim Tebow, and I'm like, bro, I watched this dude Tim Tebow live, like in practice, like routes on the air. Oh no, buddy. When he got released, I wasn't surprised. All right, but Chris Mortensen reports that pretty much Baker Mayfield, he's out. He's out. Like, he's not going to be playing for the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns want to move on from Baker Mayfield. They are looking for someone that essentially isn't as childish, I guess you could say. I don't think those were exact words. I don't have the quote up in front of me, but ultimately, whatever's going on right now with Baker Mayfield in Cleveland, it's ugly. It is not ideal. So I think everybody assumes Baker Mayfield, he's moving on. Now, where is he moving on to? Mayfield said that, hey, I would love to play for the Indianapolis Colts. And I was like, yeah, I bet you would. All right. But there's one thing, man, about Baker Mayfield and guys like him. And, I'm going to spin this full circle. We're going to come full circle and come back to Jimmy Garoppolo and how it pertains to him. But he had a great setup over there in Cleveland and couldn't really do anything with it. Number 1 overall pick. He was taking over guys like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, guys that weren't pro ready, guys that needed development, needed to sit. Number 1 overall pick. It ain't worked out. And I'm gonna tell you why. It's kind of tough sometimes when with guys like Baker Mayfield, and I think you can lump Jimmy Garoppolo in there. I think you can lump Derek Carr in there, Kirk Cousins in there. And we talked about this on Locked On 49ers, but on my show, it's like a radio show. We can get a little bit more in depth in it. I can talk for however long I want. Things really need to be ideal. Jared Goff, things need to be really ideal for those guys to like win it all. Now, I mean, at the end of the day, you need a lot of things to go your way regardless to win it all. But at some point within winning it all, your quarterback just has to make a play. There's always going to be in games like points you could turn to. Well, team would have won if it went for well, 49ers would have won if it's not for this. Or but at the end of the day, it comes down to did your quarterback make a play when you need it most? A lot of times in Super Bowls, it sounds like I'm in the tunnel. What is going on? I don't know why. I don't know why I sound funny. If my sound is off, man, hopefully y'all just bear with me here. Hold on. You know what? I think I might know what it is. Yo, 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 yo. Nope. I don't know what's going on with my sound today. We'll figure it out. Bear with me today, last day of the podcast, of the week. But with guys like that, with the Baker Mayfields, with the maybe I just trying to change how my mic is pointing or something. Oh, he's just listening to the beginning of the stream. Okay. With guys like Baker Mayfield, with guys like Jimmy Garoppolo, with guys like Derek Carr, Jared Goff, whatever, all these guys, things have to be a little more ideal. And at the end of the day, to like win that Super Bowl, you gotta make a play. And it's always gonna come down to that. Did your guy make a play or did he not? You look at guys like Matthew Stafford. And what was the biggest difference between him winning it all and not, or what? I mean, he started making plays. You got Matthew Stafford doing no-look passes. I'm not saying you got to do no-look passes. I'm not even saying you have to be the most talented guy, but you have to make plays. You got to make plays. I saw, Joe Burrow get to the Super Bowl the way he had to do it. He just had to make some plays. When Kansas City Chiefs were all over him, had to make some plays with his legs. Got sacked 9 times in the playoff game. Make a play. Doesn't matter. And with Baker Mayfield, Jimmy, Derek Carr, it seems like a lot of times they kind of lack that play you need. Jimmy Garoppolo, like that one, that it's like, I need this play, Jimmy, for us to win it all, because that's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take. Need that play is going, and those guys kind of struggle to do that. And Baker Mayfield a little bit more than others. I thought his team was really good. He had a good run game. You got 2 running backs, Hunt, Chubb. You had receivers. You had Odell. You had tight end Njoku. I mean, you had Jarvis Landry. I mean, you had a terrific defense. At least they could play really good at times. Myles Garrett. And it was almost like, dang, Baker, you kind of wasted it. So it seems like he's about to be out of there. Now, how can they fix things there? Maybe getting a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo. But how much does Jimmy Garoppolo move the needle? And I kind of had this conversation about the cornerback position, right? And it's kind of essentially the same, where a lot of people, 49ers need a corner. And my thing is, well, unless it's a lockdown guy, like shutdown guy, a high interception guy, how much does getting just any corner move the needle, right? You had a 49ers defense that played well. Obviously, you can improve, right? But he gave up 47 points in 3 playoff games. Regardless of who's out there at corner, like, you give up that many against high-powered offenses, you're supposed to win, regardless of who the corner is, right? So how much more is a guy like Charvarius Ward, how much more is he going to move the needle? Maybe he does. Maybe he's 3 points per game better. And if he is, that's awesome. But you got to be a shutdown guy to do that. Got to be a high interception guy to do that, to be that much of a difference. You got to be a Darrelle Revis guy who, hey, I'm going to hold your best receiver to 35 yards. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not doing that, if you're not shadowing opposing wide receiver ones, how much are you truly affecting the game to where it affects the outcome? And when I look at guys like Mayfield, Jimmy, Cousins, Carr, they're kind of in that realm where it's like, yeah, clearly they're good quarterbacks. Even Jimmy, I know he gets a lot of slack from fan base, but I think what y'all are really seeing is he lacks that something. He lacks that something. And at some point, things aren't going to be as ideal, and you just got to go blow for blow with somebody. I mean, we just watched one of the greatest playoff games ever, and depending on how you look at it, with the Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills, where at the end of the day, it's like I got to make a play. I got to make a play. And all you saw, I mean, for the last quarter or whatever it was, 7 minutes of that game, both quarterbacks, and I get it, Josh Allen came up just a little short. But both quarterbacks, I mean, they were going blow for blow. Blow for blow. Wasn't as ideal. Damn, man, defense can't get a stop. Damn, defense can't get a stop. Fuck it, I don't care. Put team on my back. Like, just at some point, you got to say, fuck it. And it seems like there are certain quarterbacks that just aren't capable of doing that. So they need things to be a little bit more ideal. Now, if you are someone like Kyle Shanahan, maybe Kyle looks at it like, look, I don't care if my quarterback isn't Josh Allen or Mahomes or anything like that. Can you just be serviceable enough? I'll lead you the rest of the way. But clearly, Kyle, you can't. You do need a little extra. But regardless of that, teams just want to be in the mix. 49ers have been in the mix. Cleveland Browns want to be in the mix. And I believe Jimmy Garoppolo can help them do that. So will a guy like Baker Mayfield end up going to the Indianapolis Colts? Will that open up a new landing spot for the 49ers and Jimmy Garoppolo? You'd hope so. You'd hope so. What would they get for him? I don't know, but you're always going to be looking for that more. And you hope that a guy like Trey Lance becomes that. Will he? I don't know. I had a text message in the group chat with my brother and my homies, and everybody's kind of different fans in there. There's two 49er fans. There's a Bills fan. There's an Eagles fan. A couple Cowboy fans. And the Eagle fan was like, 49ers passed on Deshaun Watson for Trey Lance? Are they on meth? Are they on crack? Like, you know what I'm saying? And my brother, who's a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan and doesn't care, like, he wants to see the 49ers lose. Like, he hates the 49ers. Diehard, my big brother. And my brother says, the 49ers are right to do that. The 49ers can have their own version of Deshaun Watson. He was like, now, will he get there? Who knows? But he's like, but he has. Why can't Trey Lance become a Deshaun Watson type quarterback? Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But why can't he? And that was a great question from somebody that despises everything about the 49ers. It's like everybody just wants these other guys all the time. My brother was like, man, like, you know, they got Dak Prescott. And, you know, obviously you wish you could have a little more, but at least he has the ability. He didn't against the 49ers, but that hot chocolate's good. Anyways, man, enough of this quarterback talk. We'll see what happens with Jimmy Garoppolo. I still don't know when he'll be moved. I have no idea. My co-host, Brian Peacock was thinking by Wednesday. Clearly, Wednesday has passed. But he's starting to feel a little bit more optimistic about it. Croc, what you rather have, limited skills but great leadership like Jimmy, or great skills but poor leadership like Carson or Baker? And I don't know if Baker has great skills, but he has probably a little bit more in his tank than Jimmy. But I would rather have Jimmy Garoppolo. I would rather have Jimmy. I think leadership, there's a lot that goes into that. And although Jimmy is limited, he is elite kind of in certain areas for the most part. I don't want to say elite. He's able to work certain areas of the field extremely well. I think he is elite in the sense of leadership. And there is a quality to that. There will be some people that say, what is Jimmy's best attribute? Like, what's his best asset? I think it's his leadership. You would love to say, man, he's just a star. Like, man, he just has all this ability. He just doesn't. But he does do some things very well. Now, it's almost like Jamar Chase, who, a lot of people thought I was saying that I didn't think Jamar Chase would be good. But it was interesting because with Jamar Chase, it was the first time I had really seen this on film. He loses the same way he wins. He wasn't a separation guy, and he still isn't. Jamar Chase wins with physicality at the catch point. And he's really fast so he can run away from people. He's not like this pure like route runner or anything like that. So when you see him lose reps, I mean, he's just getting locked up, hands all in his chest, getting locked up. But it's like, well, this is how I got to win. So half the time he's going to come down with the play. And a lot of times if he comes down with that play, it's a big play downfield. Other times he's going to lose. And it just looks weird. And that's why he kind of had that lull in the middle of the season. Still had a great year. Jimmy Garoppolo is kind of similar from that standpoint. Jimmy is someone who he loses the same way he wins. He loses the same way he wins. He loses with throws over the middle. Like, he's prone to just not see a linebacker. He's prone to just overshoot somebody just a little bit. But also, he'll hit a motherfucker in stride, and he'll catch it, and he's to the crib. And we've seen that. So the same area, I mean, it's weird. And maybe that's some of the frustrating parts with Jimmy Garoppolo, but I would rather have Jimmy Garoppolo and his leadership. And these are things I'm learning that I feel like are more valuable, right? After seeing a guy like Carson Wentz and Baker Mayfield and the way that is going. I'll take that leadership, and it's just like, man, he ain't a 10, but you know what? We could do some really good things here. I see my guy says, Croc, is the way Jamar Chase wins ideal? I think in the results of it is ideal. I would say most people would like a little bit more separation skills, but at the end of the day, he wins. At the end of the day, he wins. And when he wins big, right? Look at Jamar Chase when he first came onto the scene. Even the last, I mean, it's big play, big play, big play. Down the field. It's not a whole lot of stop routes. It's not a whole lot of slants, things like that. Now, the more he continues to grow, like, his game and evolve and things like that, he'll be more. And then it's going to be really scary. It's already scary because he wins at such a high level downfield. Big play waiting to happen. Big play waiting to happen. Thank you for being the best in the business. Man, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you for the contribution, Gammon. You the man. Do you think that Lance will be the type of QB to target a bad CB more than Jimmy did? I don't think that's up to Jimmy. I think that's more Kyle Shanahan. I think Kyle Shanahan, the way he calls his plays and things like that, I think he attacks schemes and rules more so than a player. Now, maybe you could say Jimmy isn't a great throwing outside the numbers, so maybe it was a little bit more difficult for him to just attack somebody that potentially is just weak. There could be that aspect of it. But, yeah, I think it was more Kyle in the way that he sees film and the field and the way he sees plays playing out. Kyle believes there was a statement that came out one time from someone in Kyle's camp or whatever. The scheme makes the quarterback. The quarterback doesn't make the scheme. That's what they said. Now, you ain't won nothing with the scheme. Like, you're getting close. But maybe the scheme can bring you there. You need a player to put you over the top. But yeah, they believe that the scheme makes the quarterback, not the other way around. And if that's the case, then that could be why you don't see him just, man, they got this sorry ass corner out here named Brian Allen wearing number 48. Let's go get him. You know what I'm saying? You don't see Kyle Shanahan do that. Matter of fact, can y'all name a time when Kyle was just like, you know what? This dude over here, this corner sucks. We going at him. When has he done that? I don't know if I've seen that from him. Have y'all? Anyways, man, I appreciate everybody's in here right now. Go look at Adrian. Oh, Croc, go look at Adrian Colbert and Tyvis Powell talk about Jimmy. What'd they say? They probably like him. Remember when Powell and Colbert were there? I believe that was when Jimmy went on the 5-game win streak. At least, I'm trying to think. Colbert was there for sure because every game at the end that Colbert started, he started 6 games at the end of the year. He missed one in between there. 49ers won every one of those games. Part of that was with Jimmy Garoppolo. So I would assume that they really like Jimmy Garoppolo. But I could be wrong. So G Crackhawk, you gotta tell me what they said. Gotta tell me what they said. All good things, yeah. I would assume that. Here's the thing, and then we'll get to Julio Jones. Here's the thing. Players view it different than fans. To players is not necessarily about the flash. All right. It's more so, and I see WB Studio, I see the super chat. I'm about to get to that. But with players, it's not so much about the flash. One thing, and I talk about this every once in a while, but when I got to the NFL, because I've been a fan my whole life. And shout out to my guy, Dreadhead David right here. I miss having my dreads, man. Thank you for coming in to the channel, new subscriber. Let's go. I've been a football fan my whole life, and I like love it. Like the same way I'm kind of passionate about it now. I'm being able to come on here and talk to y'all about it every day. Like as a kid, like I wanted to be Stuart Scott. I wanted to be Deion too, but I ain't never think I could be Deion. So I wanted to be Stuart Scott. And then I was like, hey, I don't think I got the voice to talk to people. I don't think I got the voice to talk on TV. All right. But when I got to the NFL, which was a shock, like I wasn't this Pop Warner all-star. I wasn't this high school all-star. College, I was all conference and things like that. I worked up from the Arena League to the NFL, but nobody thought Eric Crocker would go to the NFL. And then I did, but I was a fan first. And going there, I kind of looked at these guys through a different lens. I kind of like idolized them in a different way. And I get there and I'm like, actually it started back in the Arena League where this guy, he just came from the Buccaneers. There are a lot of NFL players on my Arena team, former NFL players, and some that eventually went on to the NFL. But they were like, Croc, you can play in the NFL. And I'm like, really? Nobody's ever really told me that. Yeah, Croc, you can play in the NFL. And it still didn't really kind of register to me. And then one of my buddies, Jerry Brown, RIP Jerry Brown, he was my teammate. He eventually went to the Colts, then the Cowboys. He died in an accident 2012. Y'all might remember that. Dallas Cowboy, the defensive tackle was drunk driving. It crashed. It burned up. My homie Jerry Brown, he got stuck in the car. He died. Well, he was my teammate that year. So I was still in the Arena League. He was going on to the NFL. But he had messaged me and was like, hey, the Colts, because he had signed with the Colts first. He's like, Croc, Colts really like you. Keep doing your thing. Whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. I'm like, NFL? So I get to the NFL. Remember, I'm a fan. And the first thing I notice is these motherfuckers ain't tight like that. They're not tight like that. Like they're, I don't want to say regular, but it's like if you're good, like you're good. I was good. So like if you're good, you're good. It's not as like what we think. There are a few special players. They're on each side of the ball, right? Like it was clear to me Antonio Cromartie was special. It was clear to me Sheldon Richardson, like that motherfucker's special. It was clear to me that Quentin Copus could be special if he had it right up here. Muhammad Wilkerson. Now that defense was kind of loaded, so they had a lot of special players on that side of the ball. It was clear to me Demario Davis. I was like, Demario Davis, this dude's really good. Nobody knew who Demario Davis was in. But I didn't know him was special, but I know he's a good football player. I could tell that. On the offensive side of the ball, I'm like, these motherfuckers not tight. I know plenty of dudes that I know in other leagues or whatever. These dudes, like, they can play here. So the view that NFL players have on other NFL players, I think it differs from what the fans' perspective is. So when you have guys like Adrian Colbert or Tyvis Powell, they see Jimmy Garoppolo and it's like, man, he's really good. And he is. They see some sorry dudes like Nick Mullins and CJ Beathard, and that was who they played with originally. Then you get Jimmy Garoppolo, the leadership, the ability, like, and it's like, hey, this is different. Like, this guy is good. He's a good quarterback. You can win with him. And that's what most guys care about. Now, again, as a player, you know you're winning, and okay, this is the guy, whatever. And sometimes they're too close to it, and they can't see from a different perspective because all they know is like, dude, he's a winner. They can't. They got to step back a little bit. I talked about a little bit with Deebo Samuel, right? And he made this comment, and Deebo was like, "Oh man," and he didn't even mean to do it, but it's like Deebo, like this is what we're talking about. And Deebo didn't really mean to do it, but he said it. Man, they knew we wanted to run the ball. They knew that's what we do good. So they made us throw the ball. And that was how we lost. Basically, that's what he's saying. We lost because we had to throw the ball. What, Deebo? Yeah, of course. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that the way you gotta force Jimmy to beat you. Kansas City Chiefs said it in the Super Bowl. Kansas City Chiefs said it. What they say? We want to make Jimmy beat us. Well, yeah, they don't feel like he can, but he's good and he can win games. Things need to be a little bit more ideal. Sometimes when you're a little close to it, you can't really see it, right? If I get really close to the screen, it's kind of hard to see the full scope of things. I back up a little bit, got a different view. Sometimes the players are a little close to it. Sometimes, I mean, they could see it, but you know, you are a Niner fan, bang, bang, die hard. Oh, yeah. I'm a big Niner fan. I was with the New York Jets, but yeah, I'm a Niner fan. Here we go. I got a couple super chats I started here. Here's one here. I'm still trying to figure out the last year's weird year, the staff deception of the quarterback situation, the weird play calls at times with Lance. Man, you know, this is a great one here. I think with Kyle, again, it goes back to the thought process of the system makes the quarterback doesn't make the system. And Kyle wants his system ran a very specific way. And a lot of times it takes some time for guys to really be able to step in and play at a high level. Sometimes, especially a guy that's kind of green. Now, Jimmy came in and played well enough. People see the 5 wins. They're like, oh, well, he played great. He was great on third downs. And that did a really good job of moving. But they weren't like, you know, it wasn't lighting the world on fire, right? But it was like, okay, this is good enough to win. And I think ultimately, throughout Jimmy Garoppolo's time as a 49er, if you kind of go through the years, that's ultimately what it was, right? Like, this is good enough to win. Kyle knows that with Jimmy Garoppolo is good enough to win. With rookies, there's just a lot of unknown. And I think that's what you were seeing with the thing with Trey Lance. Now, there were a couple times where he was about to go to Trey Lance, right? And he said it, like, he was this close a couple times. But ultimately, I think they did the right thing by letting things happen a little bit more organically, playing Trey Lance in times where, all right, you know, Jimmy's hurt. You got to play. I like the progression that I saw from Trey Lance from first start where maybe Kyle didn't know how to call plays from to second start where maybe Kyle said, you know what, you're a little bit more prepared for these different things. And you just see, okay, you're getting better. I got a DM from somebody like, hey, man, everybody hypes Trey Lance's performance against Houston, but something. And my thing is just like, hype. It's not about hype. It's just about, like, where is he? With Trey Lance against Arizona with me, it was, where is Trey Lance at? Okay. He has to improve at XYZ. Not sure he's seen the field well. How will he look the next time we see him out there? Next time we saw him, look a little bit more comfortable. You could do a little bit more 49er offense to Kyle Shanahan things. But you know what? Like, this is better. Completed 70% of his passes, like, through touchdowns. Like, it was like you just, okay, am I seeing him taking strides in the right direction? It's not about the hype. It's not about the splash. It's just about, like, where is he at as a quarterback? And is he getting better every time we see him? And to me, I think the answer is yes. I think every time we saw Trey Lance, he got a little bit better. And now you just hope he continues to get a little bit better. Get a little bit better. What do they say? 1%. Get better 1% every day. It was a weird dynamic. Kyle kind of created that by having Jimmy Garoppolo on the roster, but ultimately you kind of go back. It seems like maybe it was the right thing to do. wouldn't be what I did. Where I would have said I would let him go, but I would let Jimmy go. Throw this guy in there, roll that 25 million over. Also have the 27 million. I mean, we're talking about freeing up $50 million if you let him go and let Trey Lance work through his ups and downs. But 49ers got NFC championship out of it, so I ain't complaining. Appearance, excuse me. You were a Niners fan when you were on the Jets too? What? Man, listen. When you really like, I love the Niners. You really love something, like, it don't just go away. Dude, I was in the locker room. I remember when Michael Crabtree tore his Achilles or whatever, and or ruptured his Achilles, and I remember being in there, and I'm like, damn, y'all see Crabtree, like, he ruptured Achilles, and they look at me like, so? Like, man, my bad. I'm a 49er fan, man. My bad. My bad, bro. Like, hey, man. Cobra talked about the value Jimmy brings in the locker room. I responded. Yeah, but I do think that's a big thing, right? As opposed to what we've seen from, like, or hear about Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz sucked, like, from everything I hear. Now, again, that's not polling everyone in the locker room, but a lot of the reports are he's not really, like, up here. There's something off. There's something off. What was your response to it, Chris? Are you gonna have a breakout year this year? Hey, man, hope so. Hope so. Hope so. All right, here we go. Let's talk a little bit about it. And you know what? I'll leave this up for a little bit longer as we talk about this, because the 49ers kind of need this. But Julio Jones was released by Tennessee Titans. And my first initial reaction was Julio is kind of washed. Like, he's old, he can't stay healthy. He's not who people thought Titans were getting. Remember the year before that, he missed some games. So over the last 2 years, he's missed two games. He's missed 7 games each year. So 14 games over the last 2 years missed. Can he stay healthy? Now, one of those seasons that he missed 7 games, he still had, like, good numbers. And he still averaged 15 yards per reception. And even last year, with Julio Jones missing 7 games, he still averaged 14 yards. So I don't think it's just like Julio can't play. But clearly, his production has dropped off drastically, and I think a lot of it has to do with injuries. So, should the 49ers target Julio Jones? Got a guy right here, Revenge says, man, I used to have a breakout year. We already know what Debo is. What about Juwan Jennings? Do y'all feel like, what, this group is kind of set? They don't need Julio. I won't go that far, but I think I have a little bit more respect for Julio than to say that. I want to say he's washed, but I think he might be a shell of himself. Always talk about moving the needle. How much does Julio move the needle for the 49ers? The interesting thing was, I feel like there was a veteran recently that did something like this, where his production started to drop off, and then boom, was it Anquan Bolden? Let's see. I'm looking at my right here. Let's look at Anquan Bolden's stats. 49ers traded for Anquan Bolden for what, a 6th-round pick? Was it a 6th-round pick they got him for? And I believe maybe, let's see, before he went to the 49ers. So, his production slightly dropped off. I mean, 2008, 2009, he was 1,000-yard receiver. And then he had 3 straight years under 1,000. But he was hovering around 1,000. But 3 straight years under 1,000. And then he gets to the 49ers and has back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. So, now, the difference here is he was playing most of these games. Julio's been out. If Julio is healthy, can he be more of a 1,000-yard receiver? I think the biggest thing is, can Julio stay healthy? I think the ability is still there. When you see a guy that's averaging 15 yards per reception, then 14 yards, like, it's still there. But that health, I think that's a big issue. Locker room value matters. Didn't help his playoffs. And that was it. Like, once the playoffs happen, I think fans sometimes have a hard time with this because they want everything to be perfect. Things aren't going to go like it's good on good in the playoffs. Now, you might have a situation where a guy like Raheem Mostert runs for 1,000 yards in one game, then maybe you don't need things to be, you know what I'm saying? Like other things happen, whatever. But more times than not, it's going to be a dogfight in the playoffs. When one wild card weekend, or not wild card, was it the divisional round? Every game came down to the last play. Like that was crazy, but that's the playoffs. Like it's not always going to be perfect. Like you got to put on your big boy chonies and do your thing. And I don't want to say Jimmy can't do that in the playoffs. I don't want to say that. I like to go off what people have shown me. And Jimmy has shown me that, man, in big moments I can step up. But can you step up to the point where like in that up here and you get the 49ers over the top? Because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take everything from your quarterback. Unless your defense just holds the team to 3 points like the Patriots did to Jared Goff. Jared Goff gets clown, but he won a lot of games. How come Jared Goff's viewed different than Jimmy Garoppolo? Why? Jared Goff won a ton of games. After his rookie year, once the McVay showed up, Goff won a ton of games. Went to the Super Bowl, lost the Super Bowl, went playoffs, multiple playoff appearances, never had a losing season with them. Why is he viewed different than Jimmy? I would say this. The outside world views Goff and Jimmy the same. 49er fans, and clearly Kyle Shanahan, those guys don't. I don't need him to be perfect, not the worst QB though. And I think what Chris is saying by not the worst QB, so far, Jimmy, in the playoffs, he just hasn't been very good. Hasn't been very good. Here we go, man. Y'all know what it is, man. It's time for y'all to come on live. Come on live. And we're going to talk about it. Y'all want to talk about anything we discussed so far today? I apologize for whatever happened at the beginning. I can't hear myself. So I think my mic wasn't plugged in all the way. But I'm good now, y'all. I'm good now. Sounds good. Good. We good to go. Come on live. Whatever it is, the floor is open for y'all. Y'all want to talk about the a new opportunity for Jimmy Garoppolo on the horizons. Cleveland Browns doesn't make sense. Potential Julio Jones signing. We'll see. Is he a shell of himself? Is he still that guy? Free agents leaving to New York and Miami. Did people just not like Kyle Shanahan? Or is it like, dude, these people are paying me more? I think it's more about that part. Got to get the bread, man. Got to get the bread. But the link is in the chat, right? I just put it in there. Yeah, the link's in the chat. Come on live. Goff absolutely does not throw downfield. I think Goff threw downfield more than Jimmy. You know, it's funny though, because we see like Kirk Cousins plays where he's throwing the ball down the field. And we, Locked On 49ers with myself, Brian Peacock, 5 days a week. Man, make sure y'all tune into that. Peacock and I, we had a crossover episode with the Vikings host. And the Vikings host said, because we see the plays, right? And it's like, me and Chris, we had this talk yesterday about Cousins and Jimmy and all that type of stuff. But 49 fans, we see Kirk Cousins throw the ball down the field. And this is maybe what Kyle Shanahan, and I was saying is like, man, does Kyle Shanahan give him the confidence to do it? The Vikings coaches basically like, Kirk, throw the ball down the field. We don't care what happens. Just throw it. Throw the ball, Kirk. Kirk, please throw the ball down the field. They had to beg Kirk Cousins to throw the ball down the field. Did Kyle do that with Jimmy? Jimmy, throw the ball down the field. I don't care what happens. I feel like when you can play a little bit more free like that, you just give your guys opportunity to make plays. Throw it down the field. Did McVay do that with Goff? Jimmy has lower lows than Goff. I don't know. I'm not going to, you can nitpick at their games and things like that, but ultimately they're the same guy. They'll have some subtle differences. This guy might do this better. This guy might do this a little better. But ultimately, they're in the same tier. And I think the scary thing for Jimmy Garoppolo is if you don't have this really good 49ers team around you, do you go to a team like the Lions and all of a sudden it doesn't look the same? Here we go. We got BX Niner for life. Let's go. Good morning, man. How you doing?
Morning, Croc. How we doing?
Doing good. Where are you from? Is BX like the Bronx or you just got that in there?
Yeah, no, I'm a Bronx native. I'm
Okay,
calling
that's
right
what's up.
now. I'm calling right now out of Poinciana, Florida, out in the Kissimmee area.
Yeah, okay. How's that Florida weather treating you? Because I know I live here in Southeast Arkansas, and it gets a little weird. It'll be hot, then it'll rain. Then when it rains, it's muggy, and then do y'all deal with similar weather, right?
Oh yeah, when it's hot, it's hot. When it's muggy, forget about it. It's like trying to breathe in a steam room. Ain't happening.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The only good thing is when it rains, it'll rain for 2 minutes, and then clear up.
But then when it clears up, it's super humid.
Yes, nasty, real nasty weather.
Yeah, but yeah, what's on your mind about these 49ers, though, man?
All right. I've been listening to Grant and you guys for a while, especially since you started on with Grant as well. Listening to your side of the story here, because I believe when you were playing, I was still living in New York.
Okay,
But I have a somewhat of a conspiracy theory thing. Uh, when they went and got Trey Lance 2 years ago, they stated, and they when they kept Jimmy, they stated that they had in place money for Jimmy for the rest of his contract. They had it worked out in a way where they will keep Jimmy if necessary. I don't think that they are ploying or playing around with the fact of trading Jimmy. Doesn't matter what injury he has or anything like that. The sad part is with all of that is they can say, "Oh, this team wants him, this team needs him," or how good or how bad Jimmy is. They don't want to get rid of him. They're just stringing the fans along and letting all this news go around. Trey Lance is ready to go. The kid's been ready since day one. I've seen his videos from his college day career playing those 18 games, 17 games that he played in. And through each game, he's progressively improved. And he proved it throughout this past season with the 2.5 games he played. You know, in the
right,
beginning, when he started out the first half, he was slow. Of course, he's getting used to the speed of the game, something he hasn't done in what year and a half playing due to
right.
COVID. Uh, and the fear of Kyle Shanahan not wanting to start rookies because of whatever. I don't think that's the aspect of it either. It's also the fact that he probably is on the hot seat of losing his job at one point. This is why he stood with Jimmy because he has been failing to succeed. Yes, they've made it to the NFC Championship twice, Super Bowl once in 3 years. Injury plagued one season, they could have probably made it back. And through all of it, they're giving Jimmy all the credit when in retrospect, it's a team sport. It's not a single player sport. You need every aspect or component of the team to play properly in order to get to where they got. So I look at it as the offense at one point was what, top five, top 10 in 2019. Defense top five for the past, I'm going to say top 10 within the past 3 years, top fives for 2 of those 3 years.
Yeah,
And if you look at Jimmy Garoppolo's numbers, especially fourth quarter numbers in any playoff situation, he is the most horrific quarterback in the league in history.
yeah.
You cannot depend on him to pull out the big win for you. He's already proven it. He's scared to throw downfield. He can't throw outside the numbers. And when he's throwing in between the numbers, he doesn't see those linebackers just sitting and waiting for him. He's given the game away. And our defense has brought it back and brought us life. and everybody's crying, keep Jimmy, keep Jimmy, keep Jimmy. We need a fresh new start. We need the kid. We don't need Deshaun Watson. We don't need Tom Brady. We don't need Aaron Rodgers. We need the kid. We need fresh. We don't need old.
I would say, and I appreciate you coming on, BX. I'm gonna get you off now. All right.
All right.
All right. You have a good one. Thanks for
You
listening
too.
in too. All right.
No problem.
It would be hard for me to just be like, I don't want Brady. Like I don't want Deshaun Watson. But I mean, anyone that has listened to me talk over this, second half of the season knows like I'm someone I believe big time in development. I think that can happen. It happens at different times for different people. And for me, the biggest thing is, does someone have the ability to be who you think they can be? Right? Like, have they shown those flashes? And then from there, if they've shown those flashes, okay, how do we just get him to that point? And are they making the right strides? And if so, then at some point they'll get there. And again, it's hard to say, well, I don't want Brady, I don't want Watson. I'm not going to say that, but I do believe that Trey Lance can get to the point potentially. I think he has the stuff to where, I think you'll be happy with whatever the outcome is. Again, he has shown that he has the ability to be a winner, albeit at the FCS level. A lot of pressure, I guess you could say, on him. Going to, a North Dakota State school. I mean, they're champions all the time, a lot of the time. And you being a freshman, they play veterans more than anything. They brought somebody in to play over him that year, beat him out. Then they go undefeated, win the national title. He showed grit. Even in the national championship game, the elements weren't ideal. He's like, don't worry, put the game on my back. I'll run us to a victory. I believe Trey Lance has the good stuff, the mentality and things like that. And again, he came in, second throw as a 49er in preseason, bombs away, touchdown. Like, you've seen the runs, you've seen the ability, you've seen the tight window throws, you've seen he has the ability. Now, can you just see him continue to make strides in the right direction? And so far, the what we've seen so far is someone that each time you've seen him, he has improved a little. Now, are we talking about drastic improvements? I wouldn't say that, but typically you're not going to see that over a 2-game span. But I would say there was a noticeable difference. And you would just hope going into game 3, is there going to be a difference? Game 4, is it going to be different? Game 5, oh man, it goes backwards a little bit. Game 6, okay, he's back up. And you just continue to kind of build on that. Small wins, 1% each day. 1% each day. All right. You know what would have been really cool? Trey Lance and North Dakota State, before the whole COVID thing, they were supposed to play Oregon week 1. And everyone in North Dakota State camp, they feel like they would have won. They lost their season. Here we go, coming on now. I got my guy, Papa Dragon.
Oh, hey, what's up?
How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm sitting over here trying to make my laptop live a couple years longer, and it ain't working out. My MacBook Pro is like 11 years old.
Yeah.
You're trying to work on it. Boom, working on it. So, and I'm streaming with my new MacBook Pro that I just got, but that's not bad considering I haven't bought a new MacBook Pro in like 11 years.
I got a deal. I paid like $600 for it. It's been riding with me for a couple years. It might be time to upgrade pretty soon though.
It might be. I think I paid $2,700 for mine in 2011.
Oh yeah.
And it's been rock solid. And I got it going again, but it's just 11 years. It's just time. Another $2,700.
Right.
What are you gonna do? A lot of interesting comments, man. Again, thanks for the platform as always. I remember looking at one of your videos back when you were talking about Trey Lance. And I do believe that Mac Jones was probably the choice at first until you start looking at tape. Because I know Trey Lance wasn't my choice without looking at tape. After I looked at the tape, then to me it was Trey Lance all day. And it wasn't it was really because of his brain. He's got it upstairs. It was because of his upbringing, how his dad raised him, getting him up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, he got himself up at 5, and that was the impressive part.
That's right. I'm sorry, you're right. He had to get himself up, right?
He had to get his dad up. There we go.
He had to get his dad up. Yep.
Yeah.
If you go through some of the great players, their dad had a major impact in a lot of their lives. Sometimes it didn't. Sometimes these guys just rose above, like Terrell Owens. But the point is that he had it upstairs. And what I saw on film compared to the other quarterbacks was the fact that he would go to the line of scrimmage, make all the line calls and plays. He was the only quarterback who didn't look to the sideline for additional assistance or help at all. When he was at the line of scrimmage, he was handling it. All the other quarterbacks did it. I love Mac Jones' mechanics. I loved his accuracy. I loved his anticipation. But like I said, I felt he was kind of like Tony Stark, and the rest of the players around him was the armor, because he just really couldn't throw the ball past 45 yards. And that's straight up. I mean, I think Mac Jones' deep ball probably maybe 52 yards max is my guess. But when I don't think you traded number 3 and get Mac Jones. The person I was hot on was Justin Fields. He was the one I was hot on without looking at the film. But once I looked at the film and realized that Trey Lance spent the most time under center out of all the quarterbacks, despite only playing 1 year, he spent the most time under center. And we all knew that Kaepernick took over a year to get used to being under center. So I think the 49ers are in a good spot, honestly. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm not trading for an injury-prone quarterback who's injured. Flat out, I'm not. Now, once I get more information, once I've exhausted.
So you're talking about teams potentially trading for Jimmy Garoppolo?
Yeah, we're talking Jimmy
Garoppolo. If you're a team, you're not trading for him. So
I'm not saying I'm not trading for him. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I'm not trading for him now. I need to exhaust all avenues first. But I do think he's a good pickup if he's healthy. And I'll explain that in a second. But go ahead, Croc.
Well, no, I just saw someone in the chat, and we'll bring it up here. And now I'm going over to my. Did that really just happen?
What just happened?
McCaffrey traded to the Chiefs.
Ooh.
That's not true. I don't know. I don't see that.
That's true. I don't think that's what's up. Now you got me looking. You got me looking. I mean, a lot of times these headlines are just trying to get clickbait and stuff like that. No, that hasn't happened. That doesn't make sense.
What is up with this, man? Okay, Pop Drag, I'm going to get you off, man, and get the next caller on.
Oh, what happened, dude? All right. Well, look.
Wait, no, go ahead. Get your take. My bad. I know you
No. So what I'm saying is basically, we all know that the difference between Goff and the difference between Garoppolo is locker room. And any NFL coach will tell you the minute they lose the locker room, they're going to be losing their job. Okay? That's Jimmy G's locker room. It is, for better or worse, it is what it is. He's an ugly winner. But moving beyond that, what the 49ers are going to have to do is that they are going to have to probably retain him until he's healthy and move him later, unless they have some kind of like incentive-laden type of pick. Although I still think that once everything settles, as far as like Deshaun and whatever other quarterback may become available, once that settles, then he'll find a home, because there's 5 people who need a quarterback right now. Now, the bottom line is, I said he was worth a 4th round pick that could escalate to a 2nd. I don't think he's worth 2 2s. I just don't.
Right.
Because of his injury history and the fact that right now he's.
I don't think he is either. I think the 49ers maybe overplayed their hand a little bit with that one.
Yeah.
If that was true. If
true.
They truly wanted 2 second-round picks, it's like.
Right. And I think my last pick is, my last thing is that 49ers fans, just be patient. I mean, you have a winning football team. We took probably a half step back. We took a kind of a quarter step forward. The draft hasn't happened yet, but I keep trying to stress to people that the offensive line is very, very important. And our offensive line pass protection has not been good for years. And that Jimmy can't help that. Trey can help it because he can run around. But, it all, when Kyle would say it's not all on Jimmy, he was right. But at the same time, while he's a good locker room guy, I don't think that Jimmy Garoppolo is a good field general. The good field general is that guy that makes those off schedule plays, just sometimes with his mind, with the right audible, or with the right line call, or with the right pitch. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't do that. Running the clock down like in the Green Bay game that we lost earlier in the year. Just hold on to the ball for 10 more seconds, Jimmy, and then hike it. You're on the field. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's the little things like that Jimmy has to do on the field. And like Brett Favre said, you win, you compete and win despite the coach. So sometimes you have to outperform those X's and O's. And that's what Jimmy has to do. But he does have elite traits in some areas. It'll be interesting to see what he does with a better offensive line, though. And that's a big concern for me because if you've noticed yesterday, we had a couple of bookend pass rushers showing up on some teams. And that's going to be the new trend because we started that trend with D Ford and Nick Bosa. So now you got teams with the Raiders got 2 bookends, the Chargers just got 2 bookends, and things like that. So yeah, having good tackles right now is paramount. All right, Croc, we're out.
I appreciate you coming on. Here we go, real quick. Wanted to get to this. I got my guy. He says, "Do you think Falcons and Niners are working on a deal for Matt Ryan and a Jimmy trade?" And it's funny you say that because I'm looking up at my screen right now, and Geoff, am I saying his name right? Geoff Schwartz. Hopefully, I'm saying his name right. He says, if Watson does go to Atlanta, I'd expect Colts and 49ers to try for Matt Ryan. And they talked about Matt Ryan and, the whole thing with Deshaun Watson. And then he went on to say, for the 49ers part of this, team is ready to win now. Is Trey Lance good enough to win now? Matt Ryan had his best season in that offense. Obviously, trade comp would be important here, but it's a great fit for a year or two. So, I mean, clearly this is something that isn't really going away as it pertains to, Trey Lance and where he's at in his offense. I think the expectations are extremely high, and people just kind of gloss over his ability to improve. I don't know if that's what he's doing, or it's just like, well, it's unknown, so let's just plug someone else here. Man, plug someone else in somewhere else, man. Man, thank you for the great content, fam. Keep it up. Outstanding work, man. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Appreciate the love here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's go. Try to bring y'all that real. But yeah, it's like every time I go on, and again, this is something that happened with both, not just Trey Lance. I don't even think it's a Trey Lance thing. I think this is a 49er thing. I think people know if I mention something with the 49ers, it's going to grow his little legs and just take off. And I think that's what's going on here. I'm curious to see how much responses that gets. Here we go. I got a lot of people waiting. All right, so this is how we gotta do it. Like, everybody now, you're gonna have to kind of just get your take because my wife, she just called me, then she texted me. My daughter, she has like a stomachache. I gotta pick her up from school. So what we're gonna do here, y'all just have your take ready. We'll kind of briefly discuss that, and then we'll move on. Here we go. First things first, I got my guy, got the twin on. We got Ryan on. And Ryan, hey, I told my brother too. I was like, hey, my brother, they always, I'm in a group chat with Cowboy fans and all that. They reference your brother a lot.
That's what's up, though. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it quick though, man. Look, this is a terrible look when we're going back and forth with so many quarterbacks, man. I think we should go ahead and get out in front of this. Trey Lance is the quarterback. Quit like dating all these other individuals, man. It looks like we're still, I think I told you this early in the year, a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. This is the same situation year after year after year. Hey, stick to your guns. If you went, you gave up those picks for him, trust them. Kyle, Shanahan, John Lynch come out early. Hey, press conference. Trey Lance is our starting quarterback, point blank period. We're going to run in the next 5 to 7 years underneath this young guy. This is who we're going to run with. This is who we're going to build our system around. Can we just stop all the other talk? They got to say it. They got to
and that's the thing, though, right? Because it's all this stuff is speculation from outside people. It's not the organization. Yeah. But if the organization did just come out and say, this, and I get it. Like Kyle, I remember Kyle Shanahan saying before, with the whole Mac Jones thing, it's like, dude, it's not my job to correct these people that are wrong. Like they could say whatever. Like I'm not gonna go out of my way to correct them, make them think whatever they want to think. He said that during the draft when it's like we're getting Trey Lance.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks we're getting Mac Jones. I'm not gonna correct these people, whatever they think. So I think from that standpoint, maybe you don't. Maybe he's saying it to Trey Lance. Trey Lance, don't worry about anything.
Don't worry about it.
We're good, but we're not going to come out and say anything in the public because, like, we want to still kind of hold our cards tight to our hands when it comes to Jimmy Garoppolo. Maybe he's saying that.
Yeah, and just John Lynch, sometimes he still be trying to say, Jimmy's still with us and trying to be very, PC about it. Hey, John, just go ahead and say, hey, Trey Lance started in 2022, 2023 as our starting quarterback. And because every little foothold people see, they're going to try to bust it open because we are a great fan base and they know we're going to drive the likes, drive all of the clicks and everything. But I ain't going to hold your time. I know you got more people in the back. Keep doing your thing, man. I hope your daughter's fine and everything.
Hey, nice beanie. Nice beanie.
Oh, appreciate it, man. Check out Croc Talk, man, and First Line Sports as well, man. Check it out. Go grab y'all one, okay?
I appreciate you, fam.
Peace out, man.
All right, here we go. We got Medic Mike coming on. Medic Mike. Good morning. Looks like you at work right now, huh? You on duty?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good thing nothing's popping off right now, but I know we strapped for time, so let me get my takes off real quick. First off, Kyle and Lance, that's going to be an interesting dance. Kyle, to me, is that architect with the system, and Lance is the designer or the engineer. Kyle's going to have to pull those reins back a little bit and allow him to add his artistic flair. He's going to have to allow him to be him because that's why we drafted him. He has those tools. And I've heard Kyle say out of his mouth, you want a quarterback who can overcome your play calling. He said it himself that, a coach may call the right play 60, 70% of the time if he's on a roll. But those other times he wants a quarterback that can overcome that play call. That's obviously not Jimmy. As far as these other quarterbacks, no to all of them. Like all this other quarterback talk, that's for the birds. Lance is our guy. I'm very bullish on Lance. One thing, if you go and watch Lance's film, you watch him improve play to play, drive to drive. You saw it in the preseason. I would watch plays where I'm like, oh, he missed his check down. He missed this crosser. He missed this. He comes back and runs a similar concept the next drive, literally drive to drive. You're watching him grow. And now he hits this check down. Now he hits this open guy. And we saw that in 2 games in the regular season. And part of that progression, I believe, was stunted because of the plays Kyle was calling for him as well. I think Kyle had to have a filling out process for himself and for Lance to find out, okay, no, this dude's really got that. He can really sling it around the yard. I got to trust him more with his arm. I mean, that 2-minute drive against the Texans, you saw Lance look over, kind of give him that head nod, like, yeah, I'm good. And then that second half, he was lighting them up. And so, I'm out on all that other quarterback talk. Someone also mentioned in the comments earlier, they said, and this used to irritate the hell out of me, that Jimmy sounded, he said Jimmy sounded French in his press conferences. He would throw picks and it was always, oh, we and we this and we that. And yeah, that used to bug the hell out of me. Damn. But that's all I got for today, man.
I appreciate you coming on, Medic Mike.
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. Next up, I'm not sure if I've seen this name pop on here before. Brett Brooks. Brett Brooks, is this your first time calling in?
No, I've called in before.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of times I miss the live show because at work and I'm listening to it later on. But when I get a chance, I like to try to call in.
Oh man, I appreciate that. Yeah, of course. What you got on your mind?
I was wanting to comment about talking about possibly interested in Matt Ryan. And unfortunately, Matt Ryan at one point was good. But unfortunately, at this point in his career, and it's been the same problem that I've had with Jimmy since he's been here, is he don't have that factor like, get on my back. We're going to win this. And Matt Ryan used to have it, but I think at this point in his career, it's gone.
Yeah. Well, and I think part of it too was just the, Matt Ryan, he's playing behind a really bad offensive line. I think that has something to do with it as well.
Yeah. You know, but I don't think I've ever seen that out of Jimmy. And that's always been my biggest disappointment in him is he's never just had that instinct like get on my back. You know, that's one of the things that made Wilson so good is you give him a chance at the end of the game, he's going to take it down the field. I mean, Pat Mahomes, 13 seconds is all he needed.
Right.
Just that factor that, hey, trust me, get on my back. Listen, we're going to go do this.
Yes, sir.
And I think Trey can have that. I think he has that instinct in him, and I'm excited to see what he does with it.
Yep. All right, I hear you. I got to get you off and get the next caller on, man. But I appreciate you calling in, Brett.
Thanks for your little girl. You know, I hope everything works out good for her, and keep doing what you do, Croc. Thank you.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Here we go. Last caller. I got my guy Andrew coming on. Andrew, good morning. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing good.
Hey, so real quick, I'm just excited. The NFC West with Russell Wilson, Bobby Wagner gone. Deshaun Watson supposedly refused going up there, so that's good. Hopefully, we could beat them for the next couple years.
That's an underrated storyline right there. Like that was a big deal when that news dropped.
Yeah, so that made me excited. And then also with Von Miller and Chandler Jones leaving, the edge rushers down there, man, I don't know. I feel like the NFC West is getting weak while Niners just picked up a good corner, and maybe we be getting stronger. Might take over.
Yeah, things are kind of shaping up for the 49ers to head in the right direction, right? I mean, 49ers aren't missing, like, it's not like they lost this offseason. Like, man, you lost Debo or Ayuk or Kittle or, or Elijah Mitchell or, you lost, an edge rusher or anything like that was impact. Fred Warner is like, they're big guys. Jimmy Ward, like the main guys, like the core group that make the 49ers go, they're all still here. So I think that is something good. 49ers are continually I think they're going to be pretty strong this year and one of the stronger teams in the NFC West.
Right. All right, man, I'll let you go. I just want to share my excitement.
Appreciate you, Andrew, for sure.
All right, later.
All right. Here we go, man. Looking at the chat. Trade leadership, the right mindset, something Jimmy can't do. I don't want to say that because that's the biggest strength of Jimmy, right? Everyone says it's the leadership. I think he has the right mindset. I think Jimmy just lacks the ability to really overcome less than ideal situations. Now, you go back to 2017, and it was clear he made throws in the right moments. Now he made throws in the right moment. Like that game against Jacksonville, like if you can get that more, I know everybody goes to the Saints game 2019, but really that Jacksonville game where, you have to kind of go blow for it with a team that number one defense in the NFL, have that a little bit more. And he has it in him. The Tennessee game, that last drive, that was really good. He's had some moments. It's not all bad with Jimmy Garoppolo. I know everybody wants, but clearly there's 1% more. 1% more. 1% more. I appreciate everyone that's been in here today. All 500 plus of you. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Y'all know I got to cut out now. My daughter, stomach ache or whatever. She probably just wants to come home and eat ice cream or something. But I appreciate all y'all. Love all y'all. Y'all have a blessed day. Y'all have a great day. Achieve, make a list of goals, things you want to get done today. Get all those things done. And I'll see y'all Monday. Unless breaking news happens, then I'll come on. But I got to fly to California tomorrow morning. So we'll see if I can come on at some point this weekend. But till then, I'm out, y'all. Peace.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Aaron Rodgers over midfield. He'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Crop Talk TV podcast. Peace.